Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Bulletin Line Reviews, and today we're going to continue with the part 3 of the pickups video, but this is going to be a full system review because there is a lot of stuff to cover with this. So I'm making it into a system review, and this is the part 3. I want to thank everyone again who has been watching my videos and subscribing. Big thanks to everyone who's done that. I really do appreciate people who do watch my videos and enjoy what I do. Okay, so let's start. Let's start then with the console. My parents managed to get me one of these. You know, this has the Sega Dreamcast. This is the European PAL region. The model number is HKT3030. Now, brief history story. This was released on the 9th of the 9th, 1999 in American Europe. I'm not sure about the Japanese release. I think it was around the same time. It was a big worldwide release. What Sega did, they looked at the problems which they had for the Saturn, which just flopped. So they changed everything. That you can tell just by looking at it. This is a solid piece of kit. It has very few problems. If you buy one second hand, 9 times out of 10 they work. So that's the best thing. They saw what the N64 did with having 4 controller ports. So 4 people, same screen. Amazing. Also compatible with Windows CE, as you can see there. Runs on GD-ROMs, which are 1 GB sized CDs. And all in all, it only lasted a couple of years, unfortunately, because the PlayStation 2 did kill this monster practically, because this lacked one thing that the PS2 had, and everyone got the PS2 for this reason, and that was it had a DVD player. This didn't, and obviously at the time DVDs were just coming in as well, and Sega wanted to keep it as cheap as possible to sell it at a good price. They didn't want it to be as expensive as the Saturn one at the time, but I think it came out reasonably same price. This had some great third-party support. It had some great games on it, and all around, it's a very interesting console in general. Let's start with one of the most unique items. They didn't get this in Japan. They only got this in. Well, first I'll show you actually the back before I talk about that. You have that port there, which is your for your AV, and also this can run VGA signals, so high quality signals which are great for games like Shenmue and all the other great first party games, all what VGA compatible. You have another link, which is the serial link. On some games in Japan, you was able to connect this console to an Neo Geo Pocket and play games through there, and it had some connectivity through there. And also your mains, and it is inbuilt, is the AC. So, but you can replace that. So if you did buy a European model, you could easily replace the one little part, which is about there to there. Take that out, put your American one or Japanese, and then you're fine. You're ready to go. As you can see, there's a bit missing. I'm going to show you what goes in there now. This is your modem. Again, this is the one that comes with the console. So it's your standard 56K modem. This one was the first console to really use online gaming as a full thing. I mean, it had services and everything. It was the first one with full services. Other consoles did have this internet capability, and Sega were always the first to do this, really. You had it on the Mega Drive, you had it on the Saturn, so having it on here, natural evolution. It brought online gaming to the masses, more or less, and this is your typical modem, which just slots in the side here like so. Next thing that I want to talk about is the control pad. It's a very distinctive control pad. You can spot a Dreamcast controller from miles away. It has a very nice long cable, as you can see. It's good. You've got a good fit there, so you've got your fingers there, and these do fit quite nicely there. You have one analog, which is a shame because the PS2 and the PS1 even had dual analog controls. So I personally believe they should have done a dual analog, not just one, but that's my opinion. You have a D-pad, pretty, yeah, it's responsive. You have your buttons A, B, X, Y, and your right and left triggers. Unlike the PS2, which had 4, Sega kept with just the 2. And as you can see, there are expansion slots in here for other peripherals. I can't even say that word. Add-ons. And one of the add-ons, which is very important, is your memory card. Dreamcast Sega made this memory card, the VMU. This was the standard go-to memory card. You could always get third-party ones, but they didn't have this little LCD screen. This is a backup device. It's a portable games unit as well, because some games like Sonic Adventures 1 and 2, they had a Tamagotchi like system, and a few, and also this could be used in game. Football game, American football games. You could see what play you were gonna do, so you could change your play for what you wanted to do through here. So that way, when you're doing your plays, the person who you're playing against couldn't see. Football games shows all stats. Resident Evil Code Veronica, it showed your health, which is always good. And all in all, this is it's a pretty nifty gadget if you have two together like that, because they do slot together, and you can just transfer stuff. And these run off a CR2032 battery, same as any sort of backup. This runs on that kind of battery. Okay, so let's talk about the games. It had a pretty good library. It was very heavily supported by Capcom. Ubisoft did a few stuff for it. What I'm going to talk about though is the software. It didn't actually have firmware on the system itself as such. It didn't have any software on the system itself. So, it didn't have its own operating system is what I'm trying to say. Actually, it did have firmware, but it didn't have its own operating system like the PS2 did, and Xbox, PS3 and all the rest that came after. The actual software is actually on the disk to run it. The operating systems are actually on the disk. So having this Windows C put in was a kind of marketing by saying, look at all these games that you could play from the PC on here because it's compatible. You did have a keyboard and mouse, which was great for your first-person shooters, which are always good. If you're playing them online, you've got mouse, keyboard, perfect setup. You had other things that would stick in here, memory in your pad, which were like memory parts. You had a microphone. In Japan, you could even get a camera. You had a pair of maracas. They went out of the way with the stuff to add on to this, more or less. And now, let's get on to the games. I'll just show you the ones that parents picked up for me. And there is a lot, and I'm going to talk about something else at the end of this video. So, games that I actually own are F3 5-5 Challenge, Passione Rossa. So this is your typical racing game, only one car, very arcadey. It's reasonably fun. I'm not overly impressed because you can't really change your view in this. I like to see behind the car, not actually in the driver's seat. I think this is more of a simulation game, that's why they did that. And you'll notice a few games do say the online functionality, and the game cases in Europe are blue. You have this, and I personally prefer these of the American boring CD cases. Same as the Japanese as well, but theirs were white, so they stood out a bit more. Choo Choo Rocket, puzzle game. This is the sort of game that you could just get addicted to. I remember once playing on this when I first ever had it, and all I can say is I was hooked, and I remember playing on it for like about 6 hours straight. My eyes actually hurt at that point. This one, which is Sega Worldwide Soccer, is your general football game. Thing to remember about Sega at the time, they didn't have EA wanted to make games for it. They wanted to make games for it, but only the sports games. Sega have just spent loads of money on a different company to make their own sports games. On I believe it was Silicon Dreams who they bought to make the sports games for themselves. Yeah, NFL 2K games, yeah, NBA 2K games, stuff like that were all made, especially for the Dreamcast, from a Sega company. So EA decided not to publish for it, which is a shame. And I do think Sega did miss out a little bit, but if you spend so much money in the company just to make sports games, you're not going to bring EA to do that as well. Quake 3 Arena, your standard first-person shooter, you all know this. You can play this online. You can still play it now if you have the broadband adapter. There are still servers running because it has cross-compatibility with PC. So people who play this on PC, you can still play people on the Dreamcast. So Joe Fortune, same sort of thing, third-person shooter. You can use keyboard and mouse controls, same with Quake 3. Standard first-person shooter. It's all a bit gory. Using Magnum, you can blow people's limbs off. I never really enjoyed it as much as other people did, to be honest. Ready to Rumble Boxing, their boxing game. Very light-hearted, very funny characters, solid gameplay, and it just works. Everything about it works. It's a good fighting game, it's a good boxing game, easy to play, easy to pick up, and you can have so much fun with these unique characters. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, again, not much to say. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, you know, the Pro Skater series. This, I do believe, it seems to have slightly better graphics, but I do think it runs a bit slow compared to the new ones I'm used to playing Skate 2. So. And last but not least, Sega Rally Championship. This is definitely an upgrade from the Saturn version. It still has the great Game Over sound. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the great finish music like on the Saturn version, but has the Saturn Game Over noise, which I always found hilarious. You have a lot more cars now in this. I think there's still about like 12 cars, I think. Something like that. Yeah. And this game is specially powered by Windows CE as well. But one thing that Sega did really well on all the consoles were arcade ports. They could just do it. Okay, I also got some imported games, which I want to talk about the importing of games and playing them on a Dreamcast. If you are buying imported games, I recommend either downloading the Utopia boot disk, but that doesn't work on all games, unfortunately. But this is a DCX. The DCX CD, I paid something like £9, including postage over here, to the Netherlands from the UK off a seller. Oh, I'm going to put the link below. Is a website, and he specialises in import games, and he's a UK-based seller. So I recommend checking out that store, as well as but this enables its boot disk to play imported games. I will talk about the imported games I have now, but you need this to play them. This disc is region free to people in Japan. They can buy this disc and play your American PAL games. Americans can buy PAL games or Japanese and play it with this. It's fully region free is this disc, which is pretty damn good. Or you can, as I said, you can download the Utopia or the Action Replay CDX and burn that onto a disc. Right, let's talk about my Japanese pickups then, shall we? And let's start off simple. King of Fighters 1999 Dream Match. You have so many characters on this, all from the SNK universe, and this is compatible with the Neo Geo Pocket as well for certain aspects. I don't know what they are, but this game came very nice condition. Disc, fantastic condition, everything. I am loving playing on these fighting games at the moment, and I recommend to anyone who wants to get them. Get Japanese fighting games for the sole reason they're a lot cheaper than PAL or NTSC versions because they're in Japanese, and people don't realise you don't need to know the language because their manuals are all in English, so I think people get a bit scared, so they sell them cheap. Next one I got is Capcom vs SNK Millennium Fight 2000. This game, again, excellent condition. Some Japanese games do come with this, which is a spine card, which I believe is like a really early Nintendo point system, club point system, but this is like Sega club points. which they used in Japan, and you could get stuff with them and everything. So this was that, again, in very good condition. The cases, as you can tell, are normal CD cases, but they have a white background, so yeah, at least they stand out. The next one, I've got two here from the same series of games. I only have 1 and 3, so I am looking for 2 and 4. But the first game, I didn't have any manual, is Sakura Tyson or Sakura Wars. This is a tactical RPG with a lot of text. This has been getting a lot of love lately. I am actually part of the project. I'm recommending it to everyone to get this translated properly, and so you can use it on the PC. It is a tactical RPG. It is perfect for PC. This is very Japanese. It has full anime cutscenes, but the person who sent it used bubble wrap on all of these to stop it from falling out, which I really do appreciate. Unfortunately, this one didn't have a manual, but it is 3 discs long. It has all full anime cutscenes, which is always good. Which, yeah, I really do appreciate the seller for sending me these, actually, because I got a good deal on them. I mean, I think they were both like £7 each or something. So I did get them for a steal, because I've seen these go for about 20. But I got them for £7 each. I've got Sakura Wars 3 here. This one did have the manual, and well, you have your card there, your points card, and you have your manual, your warranty, and you get these training cards, full training cards, which are so nice. And again, I am currently playing through these at the moment using an English translation which someone has made, fan-made translation guide. So I'm playing through it with that. So people who are thinking about buying Japanese games, look into the games before buying. Something that I have to recommend, because if you haven't got the English translations and they are RPGs, a lot of them, you're going to struggle. So either go for fighting games or stuff that has an English translation if you can find it. The last one that I want to talk about, Japanese game, is Bowser's Code Veronica Collector's Edition. Again, very nice condition. Discs, very nice condition. Got your manual. Yeah, and they did put tape on the back here as well, because that is a bit damaged, so it's put tape on to stop it falling out, which I do also appreciate. This actual copy, I believe, there's a lot of them separate, but this actually came with the collector's edition Dreamcast Japanese, which was purple, and it had the Stars logo instead of Dreamcast logo on it. It was like this clear, opaque, purpley colour. And it came with that. It came with a special Code Veronica number plate, and each one is limited. I've only ever seen one up online, and it keeps going up online, but the person is asking well over, I think, a few thousand for it, and I don't think it's worth that, to be honest. Okay, I've got 2 more games that I want to show you, and so anyone who is a Dreamcast fan will tell you to get these games. You've got to get them, and we got so lucky in the PAL regions to actually get the sequel to this game, but I will show them to you now. If you could have paused it and seen the screen there. This is Shenmue. I think it's a bit tatty around the edges, but who cares? It's Shenmue. It's one of the greatest games ever created by a Sega developer who was known for making a lot of the early Sega games, and was actually in charge of AM2, which was their arcade. Arcade division. I'm just trying to find out now who the guy is. It's like Yu Ryo Kazuki. Yeah, Yu Suzuki. That man there is responsible for creating some of the best games ever. There is a petition at the moment to get Dreamcast, this series, put straight into his hands, so it's not owned by Sega anymore. he can then run it through a Kickstarter to fund the project if he wants to. But Shenmue 1, it is practically a sandbox game, I would call it. A sandbox RPG, great story, great music, great fighting in it. And I recommend, this is sort of like the Marmite of gaming. People love it, or people hate it because it's so pretentious, it's trying to be more than what it is. But you see this, and for a time when the best graphics we got were off Final Fantasy IX, you will see why this was fantastic and looked amazing. And now, onto my crown jewel. Unfortunately, I don't have the copies of this, the cardboard box out there, but Shenmue, all Shenmue games came in 2 boxes because they were like 3 discs long. You also had your Shenmue passport as well, which allowed you to do some of the online functionality in it. And yeah, it's the sequel, and Americans kill for this because they never got this. So, haha, Americans, I say. You can import it. This is one of the rarest, well, it's considered, it's not rare, but it's valuable because of it only being released in Japan, Europe. I don't understand why they didn't release it in for the NTSC region, but we will never know. And that concludes my pickups video or Dreamcast overview. If you've enjoyed it, comment, subscribe. I really want to thank everyone again for watching, and really want to thank the parents for taking the effort and just spending the money on these are all my birthday presents, so we'd like to thank them. I have got more, but I can't, yeah, I have more, but it's fine. Thank you for watching, and God bless.